But first, we go down to Valdosta. We catch up with our friend Cody Case, the boys head coach of your Valdosta Wildcats. Good morning. Do you need a note to get out of class, Cody?
No, this is actually my planning period. So we are good to go for the next 30 minutes or so.
Okay, we'll keep you to the bottom of the hour, and I wanted to. There's a lot of different things that I wanted to get into with you. And first thing is, what attracted you as you officially start our high school coverage here for 26? What attracted you to the gig down at Valdosta?
Well, on May the 5th, I was in Tryon, Georgia, coaching a quarterfinal girls playoff match while the assistant coach at Claxton High School. And so on Wednesday, May the 7th, it popped up, Valdosta High School is looking for head soccer coaches, and, you see the V and you want to go to the V.
What has it been like for you in the 6-7 months since you've taken over down there at a powerhouse in a lot of different sports that has a fantastic pedigree? What's it been like for you to jump into the highest classification down there in Region 1?
Honestly, it's been incredible. My parents have been great. My players from day one, when can we practice? When can we practice? I have a lot of players who may not have had like a lot of success on the scoreboard, but they're looking for something. They were looking for something to buy into, to make soccer fun for them. And it's been great. Down at the middle school level last year, they only had 31 tryout. We had 61 this year. We ended the season with last year they ended the season with about 24 total players. I have 42 who have been working with us for the past couple months, preconditioning and whatnot. And so, like I said, we went to all the schools. We've been recruiting the hallways. We've been doing all the things that you should be doing to build the depth, the numbers. We have enough number. We have a freshman team for the first time ever this year. And so, like I said, we've been doing the hard work, and, even before the season has started, we've been seeing some rewards for that.
So when you look at South Georgia soccer, I know that we love all of our children equally here in the state of Georgia over at SDH. It is, we know what's going on in Single A. We know what's going on. Fitzgerald's growing program. Atkinson County's made a lot of inroads in Pearson, making deep runs. And, Region 1 6A, a lot of folks gravitate to the American spelling of it, FOOTBALL. What about FUTBOL? Is it as knockdown, drag out in Region 1 from what you've been able to gather, even though you haven't hit the pitch yet? Is it still that same kind of competition?
So what I could tell you is that I personally believe that we are a 16 region currently. We lose tipped in the next realignment, but as it currently stands, from top to bottom, this may be the most balanced region in the entire state. Even with Valdosta's record last year, they took Camden 0-0 at halftime. Tift County, who is the 5th seed, only lost to Colquitt, I think, by 2 goals last year. Everybody, there's not a whole lot of just, there's not that one team that's just, we can scratch that off and we're going to go beat them 8-0, 9-0, 10-0. On any given day in this region, anybody can beat anybody.
And I know that we've been paying attention to Richmond Hill, who has been growing their program over the last handful of years. I know that one of the things that you have to tackle south of the Nat line, and what we refer to that is basically you take that line of I-16 and you just kind of move from one end of the state to the other. It stops in Macon. You go south of the Nat line, and geography and 55 cents a mile come into a lot of the challenges that are associated with the sport and with the non-revenue sports across the board. When you look at these challenges in the smaller classifications, you know what it means to hit the road. Region 1 6A, you got to hit the road, because you could be going from where you are currently to Richmond Hill, and that is a pack of lunch, pack of dinner, a midnight snack, a hard hat, and maybe a cot or a sleeping bag to get stuff done. When you look at this region being as balanced as it is, being as geographically challenged as it is, I think it speaks to the talent that's there in that particular area in South Georgia, that it is as balanced as it is.
And, we are the only region outside of Metro Atlanta. We're the only 6 schools outside of Metro Atlanta, and so it's funny just seeing when teams are, we have to go an hour away for a non-region game. I'm like, hey, we're going 4 hours for a region game. Yay, us.
When you look at expectations, you mentioned pounding the halls, and I know that this happens for a lot of coaches in a lot of sports. What has the response been like outside the school as you've been pounding the hallways, trying to get kids in, developing this freshman side? What's it been like for you to be out there in the community and getting response back? What's the response been back in the last 6 months?
Again, it's been great. Like, it kind of, I guess, is surprising if you've looked at, how the program has been the last few years, that, you wouldn't think that this would be a place that, cared or was invested. We've had, been talking to our student section about, the Dupsters, getting them out to games, having, maybe the drumline come and play at a game, and just trying to get people, trying to get them interested in something that they're already interested in, but give them a reason to buy in, a reason to believe that, hey, this is something good for this city, which, is a very soccer heavy area, between us, Lowndes, Colquitt, and Tipped. That's an incredible amount of just soccer interest, just not even in the school, but just as a whole. This is a soccer hungry area, and so it's our job to get out there and give them something to eat.
And one of those things that you've got the opportunity to do is coming up tomorrow. And I'm hoping that the weather cooperates, or at least if the weather doesn't cooperate, there's a lot of other things that you can do. United Soccer Coaches is pairing with you and have you as a hub for a really cool event tomorrow. What's going on?
So basically, we're going to host what I believe may be one of the first soccer coaches clinics in South Georgia. It's for sure the only soccer coaches clinic that was created and made for high school coaches. A lot of clinics that you go to, it's, hey, here's a drill that Barca is doing. Here's a drill that Arnslot is doing at Liverpool. Here's a drill that they're doing at Bayern Munich. And then, all right, we'll go club coaches and go run the drill that the pros run. But a lot of those, they don't take into account the on the ground realities of what it's like to coach high school. You have to recruit, you have to worry about grades, you have to fundraise for meals, you have to worry about bus travel and getting a bus there. You have to worry about kids missing practice because they're in band or track or other activities. Especially at the single A, where I have a lot of experience at, you may have a coach there who he's probably primarily a football coach, but he does, soccer on the side. And so, maybe that soccer education really isn't there. And so this is something to give the high school coaches in this area something to bite into, to increase their own, soccer experience and, to improve their own program. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, feedback and how stacked are you? What's the feedback been like getting into this particular event on the weekend?
Well, this is our first year, and so hopefully this will become an annual thing. We had great initial response, from coaches. Oh, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that. Getting emails, so tell us about that. And so, it's been very exciting to see the positive reaction to this. To kind of vindicate that feeling of, hey, there is something for soccer here in South Georgia.
Yeah, Cody Case, boys head coach at Valdosta, hanging out with us here, officially kicking off our high school coverage here in 26 on the SDH network, hanging out on SDH AM. And do you have, and I ask this, because I know that football coaches, FOOT, the American football coaches, they have their own, they've got their own Rolodexes and speed dials and everything. And it's like, okay, I'm playing so-and-so. I want to talk to this coach. I'm playing so-and-so. I want feedback here. Do you and your fellow FUTBOL coaches, do you have your own kind of WhatsApp group, text chain, speed dial things where you guys can compare notes, especially in areas where you're having to really work to get programs off the ground and get them going?
Absolutely. Luckily we just came in and, honestly, it's shooting emails. Hey, coach, can you send me your phone number? I got a question. And, over the past 6-7 months, I've created, that list and that rapport and camaraderie with a bunch of coaches, that I had never even heard of before I got here. I'm not from the Valdosta area. My first time in Valdosta was for my interview back in May. And so, it has been very easy. The coaching down here, everybody has, hey, I have a question. Can you help out? Even, your region rivals, they're willing to help out and give you advice, or, hey, is that within the rules, or, or do you need any help with this, or we'd love to help out. And so we've had a great rapport with each other since I've been here.
Wave your hands frantically to
oh yeah, there we go. It's
the motion.
Yeah,
nothing like you. See, because Cody has been sitting there diligently for about 25 minutes. And I think that 25 or 30 minutes is the run for the motion detector and everything. I mean, I could still see you. It's just that when the lights went out, I wanted to see what you were doing. Your history in the sport. Let me go back into the high school ideas. You go back to Hall County. You know what rivalries are like from your time as an East Hall Viking, right?
Yeah. So my first coaching job as a varsity soccer coach was the goalkeeper coach at East Hall High School in 2016. And so, it was just one of those. In 2016, we had Carlos Castron, we had Leo Toledo just banging in 79 goals that year. We make a run to the state finals, and, you're my first year coach, and you're like, this is easy, And so, I have experience, having those heavyweight knockout fights with Johnson and Greater Atlanta Christian, and so I'm very familiar with, how soccer looks in other places of the state.
Yeah. And so, you know what it means. So when anybody wants to transfer that kind of an idea to Region 16A, where you got Winnersville coming, I mean, it's like Madonna, Tiger, Jack, Winnersville. It's that same kind of a thing, that this is a rivalry that splits that town in half. Region 16A, it is Valdosta and Moultrie. It is Winnersville. It is, I mean, you mentioned Tift as a part of that, and I would imagine you're probably going to try and keep them as a non-region opponent when it comes to schedules in the future, just because of what it means going up and down 75. So you're no stranger to rivalries. I would imagine that your level of comfortability to create a word, you're ready for these kinds of challenges coming up this season.
Oh, absolutely. And, no matter where you've been, everybody has those local rivalries. You have East Hall Johnson, you have Claxton Metter, you have Armurchie Model, and so again, I don't think that I was, I guess we'll call it, ready for the intensity of, oh yeah, hey, Valdosta Lounge, it's a rivalry, I've heard of it, no big deal. And then you get here, and the first thing you talk to somebody, it's, hey coach, what are we gonna win Winnersville this year? Like, I've never, and so no, like even in soccer, in flag football, in outside of football, in softball, in volleyball,
FBLA, man, it doesn't matter.
No, like Winnersville is Winnersville. It doesn't matter the sport. It doesn't matter the season. This is the greatest rivalry in high school athletics. In any sport, it doesn't matter. You want to win Winnersville.
What's your biggest challenge right now, you think?
Probably on the field. We are, numbers were low coming out of last year. We haven't, the last few years, this program hasn't won a lot of games. And so it's basically getting out there, recruiting people and telling people, hey, this is going to be different. This works. We've had a lot of success doing these kinds of things at other places. And so right now it's getting people to buy into the vision before the wins start appearing.
I mean, and obviously it's a part of this whole thing. It's like, understand, we get it. We know what we've got to do to build. We know we're in a tough region. We know about these rivalries. We know what it means to drive 50 minutes to go play in the hog pen. We know what it means to have something. Now you play at Bazemore Hyder, right?
We do currently, yes, sir.
There you go. See, now Winnersville at Bazemore Hyder. That's good. All right, so let me say the schedule I have. I've got February 24th. Is that right?
That is our fourth game of the season. We have Winnersville at the Bays.
Fourth game of the season, and you got, wow, because it's Claxton and Macon County are on the road. Then you got Valwood and Lowndes. Is that right?
Yep. And then Camden County after that. And so, like I said, Claxton playoff team, Macon County boys. I think they were a playoff team. Valwood playoff team, Lowndes playoff team, Camden playoff team. Like, again, welcome to the big time, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, really. I want to ask this as a part of the conversation. Yes, proper hydration. That's good. For folks that want to drop in tomorrow, break this down as to when, the where, the how. How do they become a part of this thing tomorrow?
So basically, they can reach out to either me or the head of the United Soccer Coaches, David Simeon.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're hosting it at Valdosta High School. It's an all-day event. The first half of the day is in the morning. It's kind of board work, talking a lot of program stuff, and then in the afternoon, we're bringing our players are coming out, and they're going to do on the field sessions. And so I said it's a 9 to 5 all-day event tomorrow.
Okay, so then let me ask you this: what are you up to the early part of next week? Same kind of deal, schedule-wise.
Early part of next week, yeah, we're still in a preconditioning mode. We can't touch a ball till January 19th, and so we're in preconditioning, getting in game shape and tryouts. We're having our tryouts this coming Thursday.
Okay, so then let me ask you this: leading into tryouts, I want to have you come back because I want to ask about this weekend, and I want to get kind of a review of it. And if there's any other coaches that were there that you might want to spread the word, and if we have kind of like a conference call kind of a thing, like if we have just like a round table breaking down whether it's issues or successes or concerns or anything like that, if we did that in this first half hour early next week, would that be cool? Do I need to get you a note to Shelton to sit there and go, I need to borrow Cody. I need to borrow Cody again for first period early next week. Is that cool?
No, I think that my athletic director, Coach Mitchell, would be fine with that. It's good for the Cats. It's good for everybody.
Okay, because what I'd like to do is I want to get a review of this, and I'd like to get some of the coaches that were in this with you, and just kind of have everybody have some feedback. 2 or 3 other coaches and you, just to kind of go back and forth on this and find out, okay, what questions we still have on the table. How do we tackle these kinds of things? Literally, if we turned it into almost like a chat session, basically just kind of chewing the fat. I'm not going to be eating breakfast. You guys can if you want and have your morning coffee. But like in this time period, is that cool early part of next week if we did this again to kind of revisit what happens tomorrow?
Yeah, no problem. We'd love to talk all about it.
Okay, so then do this for me. Shoot me the best way to get. I know your email, but go ahead and just shoot me like another email real quick during the show. So before I sign off today, I can give them your email and then the United Soccer Coaches email for anybody that wants to dive in at the last minute, and we'll post it and we'll blow it up and get everything squared away there. What else do folks need to know before we get you out of here?
Just
go Cats.
Yeah, honestly, a lot like the Cats of the future are not the Cats of the past. And,
right.
We're here to say Valdosta won 3 of 4 region championships not too long ago, and so this is not a program that's struggling, that we're trying to build something out of the mud. We're trying to bring it, we're trying to bring it back to where the expectations are for any sport at Valdosta High School.
Good deal. So you have your homework from me. I have my homework from you. I hope this thing does really well this weekend, and then this way early next week I'll get your feedback on it with another couple of coaches. And like I said, we'll have like a South Georgia rap session about challenges and all this kind of stuff. So we'll continue to educate the audience about everything and get everybody ready for the high school season. Cody, thank you for reaching out first and foremost. It was great to catch up with another South Georgia coach as we get ready for our high school season. Go to class, sir. Like I said, thanks for dropping by. We'll catch up with you early next week. We'll figure out the day and the time and all that kind of stuff, but it'll be before tryouts on Thursday, and we'll knock it out of the park. I can't thank you enough for letting us know about this. Appreciate your time, and go to class with your coffee, sir.
Awesome. Thank you. Go Cats.
See, now Cody's got it down. Cody's like, yeah, that's how you wrap up every interview. Every interview there at Valdosta, that is how you finish. Literally, it is like every other, it's like all the coaches, they've learned. It's like you walk in the door, you finish an interview, it's go Cats. That is literally that's how you do these things. Cody's got that down. So that's cool. Okay, so the deal is, if you know a coach in South Georgia that is interested, Cody's going to shoot me the details on this, and then we'll give you Cody's email and the United Soccer Coach's email with Coach Simeon. Before we go today, we'll post it in the Twitch pitch, and like I said, we'll blow it up there as well. But yeah, for any coach that wants to drop by, be a part of this thing, where it's behind the scenes stuff, it's all the off the field, and then they do on the field, weather permitting. I sit there and we look at the heavens and sit there and go, I know what it means this time of year, especially when you're battling record high temperatures. That's crazy.